there are lots of songs I refuse to play, and then I sort of realize I'm hurting somebody's feelings, and I play it. But it's not the good ones that hurt your feelings. It's the ones that you screwed up, that you got in the way of, and those remind you of a time you don't want to return to. I try not to do that because I don't think those were ever publishable, and I wish I hadn't recorded them and given them away. I think you go through a period of self-expression and where you get all your garbage out, and those songs you should probably throw away. They're pages from your diary, and that leaves you clean for a real song to come in. Those real songs, I wrote them when I was 16, every now and then, and I write them now sometimes, and I wrote them when I was 25, and they have no real attachment to linear time. They will speak to me now, they'll speak to me then, and they'll speak to other people, and that's publishable material. So I try to stick with timeless songs, regardless of when they came to me. Sometimes I'm frustrated being in a trio when I can't play one of my leads because the bottom just drops out of the song if I stop playing rhythm. And then sometimes I decide not to care and I play a lead anyway. But for the most part, the trio has proved itself to be such a triangle of strength that I would find other instruments invasive and distracting. I've come to like the wholes that we present. It's a greater opportunity for dynamic range, whereas four people would present a wall of sound, which is not necessarily unattractive. It can be a little wearing on the ears live. With a trio, we can leave a gap and have a melody really present itself. We can have a vocal shine for a minute. We can have no vocal if we want, and then you hear the texture of the bass. I've been working in a trio for so long that it would be very difficult for me to have another instrument. I think I did my last solo tour was 5 people on stage, and I had a 50-foot wave rhythm section and a string section and I stood in the middle trying to balance these two very disparate elements. The 50-foot wave rhythm section is very, math rock tight, and then strings are very not. They kind of slide into the timing and they slide into the note. And I had to bring those elements together, and it's a relief to play with a trio again because everybody knows the math.
Yeah.
This is a really stupid answer. I write 50-foot wave songs on my SGs or my Les Paul. I write Throwing Muses songs on my Telecaster or my Strat, and I write solo songs on my Collings acoustics. My drummers tell me that this is a flawed system because they fight for different songs. But I think that when you're reaching for the original sound, that's the moment when you're hearing the song and you know where it's supposed to sit, drummers notwithstanding. And I've seen my drummers do excellent covers of each other's material and of my solo songs. But I stand by the guitar method because I think when you reach for the piece of wood, you know what's going on. And after that, you're always a little bit left of center. When you're in the song, you can speak for it. After that, it's sort of making stuff up and hoping you do the right thing. It's like kids. When they're born, you know exactly what they are. And after that, all these questions come up, and all you can do is pour the cereal and put on the sweaters. And so when you're in the studio, you're kind of pouring cereal and putting on sweaters and hoping that you're doing the right thing.